Hey y'all, thanks for oh god, we're not sponsored by Gatorade or G2. Sorry, but this is what I was drinking. It was Glacier Cherry.
Cover it up.
It's Glacier Cherry if you'd like to know.
No.
Anyways, we'll just blurt
Sponsored
it out
by
in
C
post.
George Go, because we're in C George
Ooh,
Go
nice
studio, and that's my early plug.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 7, Rad Gamer Dad podcast is what I was trying to get to. And we are going to be talking about remakes and remasters, which kind of a point of contention over the last, I feel like handful of years. Just because a lot of different things. People are like, where are new games? And I'm like, dude, games are hard to make. And, you need to calm down.
Calm down, angry guy.
But remakes and remasters, I just straight up, I don't have a problem with them. I do think there are some cases where one will suit a game better than the other, for sure. But I mean, I think a big thing of remasters as well as remakes, it gets a current generation updated to something that was wonderful before.
Right.
Can we get a definition for like what's the difference between a remake and a remaster?
Let's check this. Let's
whether
talk this
that's
from the heart.
official or
Yeah.
not.
What do you got?
Fact check it on it, and but I will say a remaster, it's basically the same game, but it'll put quality of life things, or it might spruce up the graphics a little bit. But essentially, the bones are all there of the structure. Okay, but
The flesh
remaster is where you're taking that same game, that concept, but you are remaking it, like assets. You're remaking maybe even battle systems, stuff like that. So that's what constitutes as a remaster.
Remake
then,
is
didn't we just say the same thing for remaster? Like remaster is like bring it up to date with maybe a little bit of polish, but all of the core mechanics are the same.
Did I get those switched around?
I think you used
so.
remaster twice.
Twice, yeah.
Shit.
Because then a remake and like the Sterling one, Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah. That's the one I was talking about. That's my second one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a ground up rebuild.
Jesus.
So a remaster is like retouching up the painting.
Yeah.
Remake is like, no, this is a completely new, ground up build, but of a beloved title.
Right.
Do you prefer one over the other, Ethan?
Well,
or do you hate them both?
You see, I don't really I don't dislike them because I can just avoid them, so it's not like a thing with me. But I don't know. I feel like it's the same thing with super long sequels too, where it's just kind of feels unnecessary a lot of the times, or well, at least with remasters. Remasters, I feel like it's just kind of unnecessary. There's no reason to do that. Remakes, sometimes they remake them worse. I don't know why they do that. Don't remake the game to be worse than it originally was.
Yeah,
but if they remake it and it's actually better and it's more, if the game seems like this is what they actually wanted to go for, and now that they have the technology to, they were able to.
Right.
If it seems like that, then I like it. But if not, then I'm like, no, this sucks. I don't.
Those are
this
instances.
Seems like
That's a hard point to. That's like a big point of dissertation when it comes to people talking about it in discussion, because Final Fantasy VII is the best example. There are a lot of people who love that. There are a lot of people who hate it, and I feel like some remakes really polarize gamers overall. I feel like saying the Resident Evil remakes overall were amazing.
I would agree.
I played through Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know how I feel still. So I'm just going to see what part 2 will bring for me. What's another? I know that they're remaking Dead Space, which...
is it a remake or
is it a remaster? I
think
it
it's
was a remake.
Remaster.
Oh.
I thought it was.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll have to find out.
We'll know when it comes up.
Yeah.
When it comes out.
Can I say something I appreciate about you, Ethan? You don't hate anything. I really like that. I was like, do you love them or do you hate them? And you're like, I can just avoid them. And I was if more people,
not my jam.
If more people took the Rad Gamer Lads approach to just things in general, people would be less shitty to each other.
It's just stupid.
People would not be
stupid
bombing Final Fantasy VII-R in their comments of you guys are the worst developers ever.
Right.
Just don't play it. It's fine.
I understand being mad about something if maybe you're really excited for it and then it doesn't turn out to be how you want it to be or something.
Borderlands 3?
Yeah, that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
But like,
Oh, I think it's just the 3.
yeah, the three doesn't
It's
work.
the letdown
No, because
because the
Suikoden 3 is awesome.
It's the base 1, the build up 2, and then
yeah,
the 3,
yeah. I think that's the disappointment where it's like you don't hate it. You're just really disappointed because you know how good it can be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, I feel like there's no use of like, oh man, I hate how they're doing this. Like, sometimes like, yeah, it's definitely a money grab, but
Mhm.
just don't put your money into it, and they're not gonna get money from the money grab. It doesn't affect you in any way. Like, if something isn't affecting me, I don't get why you'd waste energy just being mad about it. Cause
I think
like,
it depends on the target audience. Like there are games that definitely target kids, you know, for the money grabs and loot
Oh,
boxes
yeah.
and stuff, and
That's
that's
kind
where
of-
I get angry, I guess,
that's
if you
kind
are
of-
passionate. If it's just a game that I don't like, I'm like you too, Ethan. Like I just won't play it. I'm okay with it, and I'd like to hear your opinion on it too if someone does like it. But yeah,
That's kind of how I feel with Fortnite a bit, or like games like that, because it's just like so blatantly just like microtransaction-y, and it's
Mhm.
like, kids are the ones that only almost always play it, and it's like, yes, but you could get this new skin that does absolutely
Yep.
nothing for only $20,
Yeah.
and it's like you could just buy a shirt for that. Like I don't know, man.
Free to play games suck.
Yeah. Well, and I I feel the same way about
Free to
like
play is not free.
the remaster. I don't necessarily love. I think a ground up remake can be a lot of fun. One, because I think it gives developers to work on an IP or a title that they probably loved when they were growing up, because they're not
Yes.
remaking something like. Did we find out is Dead Space, is it a full
it's a
remake?
remake. Yep,
It,
that's
like, but that game's not that old, I don't think.
no,
Right?
and
It was a PS3 era game. and-
Xbox 360. It's
Yeah.
like 10 years ago ish, I would say.
And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not mad. I'll
Right.
probably play it. That game was incredible,
Skyrim's been redone quite a bit.
right? But it I think it gives developers an opportunity to work on an IP that they love.
Mhm.
I think it also gives people an opportunity, like me, for Final Fantasy VII. Like, I didn't play RPGs when that game came out because it came out in 1997, and I was,
Mhm.
I think that's right?
Yep.
But
got it.
I was like 11 or 12 years old, and that's not where my gaming was. To go back and play it now, it's awful.
yeah.
It's so hard. And it's not that it's an awful game, because the story's still great. It's just that the mechanics have matured over time. PS2 games feel like PS2 games, and PS1 games sometimes feel like PS1 games, and not always in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to fall in love with the story of Final Fantasy VII because it was updated for where current
Right.
gameplay mechanics are. And so I dig that.
It's a beautiful game.
Yeah, they
It
did hit
is.
some nostalgic points in that. Like there were moments where, like I think Rob, the absent Red Gamer dad, we had talked about it before, and he said that the game very much the way it plays, the way it looks, was how we felt playing it back in the day. Like this is what we envisioned as we were playing it, and I was like, I very much agree. Like it gave me that epic proportions.
I forgot to mention that last episode that Rob, R.I.P.
He's dead now. Sorry,
No,
you
he
got
has
hit
an
by
extra
20
life.
No, he'll be
different
back.
cars.
He's no longer with us.
He was hit by
today.
20
He'll
cars.
be back next episode, I'm sure. Unless something happens, then he won't.
Oh boy.
There you go.
I mean,
But,
something can happen to all of us.
I really do enjoy a good remaster of a game that I wanted to play the previous gen but never did,
Right.
or never did all the way through. I'm like, God, this is so like, okay, Japanese RPG games, a lot of them long, grindy. I think Final Fantasy has remastered their entire Final
Yes.
Fantasy catalog.
Yeah, several times over.
Yeah, and a lot of them are really good. Like the 12 one's really good. 9 is really good. 9's really playable on a phone, which is great. No, they're really good, and they have quality of life improvements. You can speed stuff up. You basically put an easy mode on there.
Right.
You
It's
know,
useful, yeah.
so you can just like, hey, I want to experience getting this spell for the first time,
Right.
or I want to experience doing this achievement in the game, or just experiencing the story again. And I think that that's cool, and I definitely think that they have their place. Remakes, like, here's an example, and one of Rob's favorite games, probably his favorite game, Final Fantasy VI. Like every time I try to go back to play that game, like on an emulator or I don't know, someone's Super Nintendo, whatever. I just can't do it.
It's
I
quality of
can't-
life is
I
really needed
can't
for some
do
of
it.
those
Well,
games.
the quality of life, the graphics. While I will admit, I mean, still the pixels,
Those are
pixelated
fun,
images,
yeah.
they're good, but it just I can't do it. So like
Shit
if
doesn't
they
hold up. No.
if they remade, and he would argue that because he's like, no, it's perfect the way it is.
That's
But
why
if they
he's not here,
It's
actually.
our time to shit on the pigeon.
No, I'm just saying, and there's nothing wrong about that. I understand.
It's totally
that.
wrong, Rob.
That's the same. That's the same how I'll feel about the Ocarina of Time. To be honest with you, like if you read, just make a different Zelda game. Like leave Ocarina alone. Ocarina was perfect. But Final Fantasy VI, I would totally, if they remade that game, did an actual full-on remake, I would totally get into that. I'm just hoping that's not a multi-parter like and Nomura's putting it on, because then I don't even think I want to. But the Pixel remaster is coming out, I think, next month for like Steam and mobile.
Yeah.
So I think I might check that out, just because they had posted some screenshots on there of like, oh, here's what they kind of updated the graphics a little bit. And out of all three Pixel remasters that 4, 5, and then now 6, this one got the most treatment to it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, for like $20 or whatever, like I'll pick it up, and hopefully it's palatable enough for me to go through, and
It's
you
worth
know,
it. It's a good one. I only played once, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with the whole remake remaster debate here.
Well, then I would say I don't spend a ton of time playing remake remasters, but the two that I did, right, or three that I did, Final Fantasy VII knocks it out of the park. That was fantastic.
It's beautiful.
Shadows of Colossus.
Wait, did they remaster that?
I believe that was a full remake.
No way.
They
Really?
did. It was the same people who did Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Okay, then I
Yeah,
think
the-
I
the-
just
the-
played
the
the
Demon
remake
Souls
then.
remake.
Was it Blue Point that
Blue Point.
touched
Yeah,
that thing?
it was Blue Point.
and
yeah.
and it was like, man, I remembered that game feeling awesome on PS2, and went back and played it on PS2 actually, and I was like, there's some input issues, like it doesn't always respond the fastest, and these monsters, they don't have the ability to like really do the art the way that they wanted to. Like you could see the idea, but it was limited by the technology, and when they did the remake of it, boom,
I
like
didn't realize that.
they left basically the whole game alone, but just prettied it up, made it way more playable.
That's the same thing with Demon Souls.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
said,
Oh,
they
man,
said the exact that Demon Souls is the exact same game, maybe like a couple tweaks, but like I said, that skeleton.
Yep.
But they went and they redid everything.
Yeah, they just overhauled it.
So that was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it kind of like borders the line between remaster and remake. And then most recently, Resident Evil 2.
That
Resident Evil
that was
2
brilliant.
remake was
Man.
I thought I
just-
liked the original, but that just knocked it out of the ballpark.
and like they didn't do it a beat for beat remake.
Yeah.
Right? Like the whole thing isn't like shot for shot the same. And they missed out on some of the parts of the second one that I loved the most.
What was
They added some stuff, like spoiler alert from 1995 or whatever.
Cover your ears.
Like fighting the crocodile,
Okay.
right? Like I wanted to have those like beast moments, and when they, then they added some other stuff in to make the story more cohesive and stuff, and it was like, oh, I walked away from each of those going like, they remade the game, but I also want them to remake it in a contemporary way. So
Right.
I like seeing when like the little flourishes that they add. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss, but I actually enjoy the new gameplay, because if I'm playing a game like that, either I missed it the first time, so I have no idea, or I'm super familiar with the original, and I like to have a little bit of more gameplay. Like it doesn't ruin the old game for me.
Yeah,
Resident
That
Evil.
nostalgia.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2's
Oh.
nostalgia was still exactly where it is. Like I'm fucking awesome.
Agreed. Well, we know what games that have been remade or remastered, and we kind of have an idea of the definition, but what would be a game or a series that you would love to see remade or remastered? Your choice. Ethan, are there any games out there from the last 10 years of gaming you'd be like, I wish they would redo this?
Terraria, because they updated Journey's Last End like I think about a year ago,
Mhm.
which is the final update for Terraria, and like they can't end Terraria already. What do you mean? Like I don't care if they got the final boss or whatever. I don't care that's the journey's end and you're being all poetic with it. I want more. Like that game needs to just be a continuous, nonstop, everlasting cycle. Like that is probably my favorite. It's better than Minecraft by far.
From Software, pick it up. Pick it up. Do a Dark Souls mod, essentially, you
No, no,
know,
no.
in Terraria.
Give the correct shout out. That's Blue Point Software.
For Demon Souls, yeah,
For-
for the remake.
What? Well, no, I'm saying, but
Oh,
from
just- yeah,
Soft,
from
they're
s-
like,
yeah.
oh, but yeah, give them, yeah.
Blue
okay.
Point's the one that actually like breaks those games down. Seriously, there is an incredible documentary
I
on
saw that,
on NoClip, right, where they like deep dive into, because From Software notoriously like doesn't let people in and they don't really share a lot of information.
So you wouldn't be able to get that.
And so they went in and talked to Blue Point, and they actually show how they broke down each game and how they bring these things to life. And holy crap, it's incredible. So
Yeah.
that's why I
that's-
wanted to make sure that
It's
they
one
get
on my
their-
list.
Their shout.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, Blue Point.
What was that? Hey, what was that penguin game that everybody loved?
Oh,
Club Penguin?
Club Penguin.
Oh,
yeah,
Club
Penguin.
yeah. There
Like,
you go.
I
yeah.
know that somebody
He was
like
a target
redid
age.
that, but it wasn't like exactly the same. And I feel like they
Wait.
tried to do a remake, and they should have just done a remaster, like the same mechanics. And
What?
just
Club Penguin?
I have no idea what this
It's
game
kinda
is,
like
but people loved it.
Roblox, where I think there were various mini games and activities and things you could do. Let
Oh,
him
it's
take it
great.
because I
Oh, it's
can't
great.
explain it.
So there was they had a dance
Closer to the
club.
mic.
It was great. They had a dance club where you had to like hit the like arrow keys on the right time
Okay.
and stuff. They had a really fun sledding game,
Mhm.
which I was the best at, and I beat everybody because I was better than everybody because I was great at that game.
Okay.
No,
Is it like a WarioWare
They had-
situation
they had
going
Kinda
on?
like a
here?
Mario
Like
Party
you
with
picking
penguins?
A booger,
You
like
could-
you're
you
rolling
could,
up
like-
a piece of
You could
toothpaste.
like make food. Yeah, there was like a food making mini game. You could like go hang out with people. There was like different areas. You could
Mhm.
chat, talk in chat. You could customize your penguin.
What's
My
it-
penguin
what's
looked
this
the
game called
coolest.
again?
Club
Club Penguin.
Penguin.
Club Penguin. When did it come out?
2006.
I was a
2007.
child.
So like 4 years ago.
No.
It's old.
He's so young. No, but I feel like WarioWare did all that. That
They
sounds like
did.
a WarioWare thing, except not as weird.
Club Penguin is great.
2005. It's been around a while.
Yeah.
Oh, Club Penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
I
when
know
did
people
when
our
did
Do you want me
age
to-
that played
Yeah,
it and,
yeah.
and they were in like high school or like just after
were
high
too
school.
busy
They're
with
like, oh, it's so
WarioWare.
fun.
When's the first WarioWare game come out?
I'm checking.
Type faster.
Type faster.
But that's a good. I thought that's what you were gonna go with when you said Terraria. I thought you were gonna bounce in and just be like Club Penguin, you know,
Just
and
walk out.
everybody in the chat would be like, "That game's incredible,"
I forgot that game existed, honestly, until you
See?
said that. And
You're
I'm like, oh
welcome.
my god.
or I'm sorry.
It's sad.
WarioWare.
They closed it.
WarioWare is 2003.
Copy of
Club
WarioWare.
Penguin was inspired. I think Mario Party is the one that takes the king on the mini game format.
Only the first like 3.
Those are the, only
rest
ones.
of
The
them
only
are
ones that matter.
Dog shit.
Agreed.
What about you? What remake or remaster do you want to see? Mine's already coming true, so it's
I would say probably an old Square Enix RPG of some sorts, like oh man,
I feel like he's done too much Final Fantasy 14. He's just like sucking the Square Enix. Just
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Just simping for that crew.
yeah,
Uh,
it's like black and white. Jesus
Oh.
Christ, what an
Are you talk-
RPG?
Are you
Black
talking
and
about the
white.
game Black and White?
No, not that game. I
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
are
we
you
with the
talking about-
monsters, the
are you-
Peter Molyneux failure. Actually, no, that was Fable. 1,
yeah,
2, 3.
it wasn't one that was
Are you
promised.
talking
It's an
about the
okay game,
incredible
though.
song by Michael Jackson?
Oh my god, I can't even. I can't even think about the actual game, and I see it. I see Vagrant Story. Vagrant Story.
Oh, there you
I
go.
want Vagrant
Yeah.
Story. I want a full-on remake of Vagrant Story. Big, beautiful. Oh yeah, that one. Or it wouldn't be like full-on like a series. I guess it would just be like games here and there. Breath of Fire. Bring it back, cowards.
Those are big
Um,
games. Was that in a Square game or was that an NX game?
Oh shit, that's right. That
Yeah,
was so
because
far
yeah,
ago.
that was
Yeah.
there was the
Yeah.
like the convergence or the emergence of those two. So there are Square games that are amazing and NX games that are amazing. And I feel like when they kind of combine, that's when things start getting
I
weird.
want a Super Mario RPG remake, not Paper Mario style.
Oh wow,
Not Paper Mario. I want it gritty.
he doesn't know what
I
he's
want it
talking
gritty as
about.
shit. Like when you
I'm
go
gonna
to
throw
when you go
hands.
to a Comic
Throwing
Con
hands.
and you
You
see
insulted my
those
boy.
ultra realistic like psychedelic pictures of Mario, and he's sitting there smoking a cigar. He's eating.
Is he
part
an
of a shrub or
NFT?
whatever. No, those real.
It
those
sounds like an
you
NFT.
People, you go to those Comic Cons. You know what I'm talking about. There's always someone that's got art.
Super
like
Mario
that. Like,
RPG is already perfect. There's no need to remake the most perfect game ever.
yeah,
We don't
you
need it.
can.
You can go
do it
back and play that
exactly
game. That
Like
game
how
is perfect
I
to
say
play
it,
now.
and
There's-
then it'll be awesome.
Yeah, just
I
like
need like a
Sure.
gavel.
just like
Shh,
update,
I have
like I
decided.
just want like a super modder to come in and like improve textures and that kind of stuff.
I'll allow that. The
That-
council has spoken.
Everything.
Everything.
No, not
Don't
everything.
take
not
everything
everything.
from
like,
me.
Like I
You
said,
side with the council.
do it like do it like how Blue Point does it. Like the bones are all there.
Okay.
You know, the game is there.
I'd
But you
play
know
it.
what?
I'd
I'm
play
gonna
it.
give this a completely different skin.
Vagrant Story was
No.
a dark horse, man. That is I did not see that coming. That's a game that I would 100% pick up tomorrow if it dropped, because that was one that I missed because I wasn't playing any RPGs at that time, and it was so noted as having like one of the best stories of all time. The art on the
Mhm.
cover of that is like burned into my brain.
So-
It's so perfect.
Right?
Right.
Like I said, I
And-
saw it before I even knew what it was coming
Absolutely.
to my. The words came to my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like that was a game that I missed, and I've tried to go back and play like emulated, and it just the architecture of the system is just too old to like let that game be what it's supposed to.
Right.
Due to my memory and certain choices I've made in my life, I barely forget that. I barely remember that game, which sucks.
I never played it,
Y-
so
you know.
it'd be cool to have a remake.
See, once again, from people who missed out on previous generations of content and be like, no, this is amazing. This was amazing back then. We made it more amazing now for you to live up to your standards.
See, in mine, the one that I have, and I've been saying this for way too many years, was KOTOR. That was what I wanted so bad.
man,
Like
yeah.
I spent so much time playing that game on Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, this game is amazing. Like every time a Star Wars game comes out, I would just be like, yeah, just not as good. Like it didn't have it didn't move the series forward. Like that game was a masterpiece when it came out, and I was like, I want that back. I want to go in and feel like I built a Jedi inside of an immersive story with like cool lightsaber play, and like I feel like every single title that comes out for Star Wars just it misses that bar, and not even like a little bit, generally by a long shot.
Yeah.
That like
BioWare made
Did you
a
play
gem.
Fallen Order?
yeah, and it's okay.
It's not like KOTOR. It's not, but
No.
I think it's a solid like Jedi experience.
It's the best we have.
It's
so.
okay-ish.
Yeah.
But even then, like you never feel super powerful. You never feel like a
No.
badass Jedi in that
Mhm.
game. The controls are constantly a little off. And
Mhm.
so you like the number of times I jumped onto something and hit L1 to grab and fell, and I was like,
Yeah,
that wasn't even close to me missing the button. I pushed
Right.
it a full second before I got there.
right.
And
right,
so
yeah,
there were
yeah, that
all
was an
these-
issue for sure.
Oh, the difficulty spike in that game, that it's like if you play on normal, like 2 stormtroopers, fuck you up. Like
Yeah.
immediately.
I thought they
Like,
always
yeah.
miss.
It's
What
like, yeah,
happened?
exactly. It's like that guy had a baton and that guy had a rocket launcher and they just decimated a Jedi. It just doesn't make any like
Right.
my
Just,
frustration.
yeah, I was gonna say you got a lot of beef.
That's
you brought
fair.
a lot of
And, you
hamburgers.
know,
because the only reason I have beef with that game is because so much of it is so good.
KOTOR?
No, Jedi.
Je-
Fallen
oh, okay.
Order.
Oh.
Like so much of it is awesome. The level design is incredible. I wanted to explore, but it made it a nightmare to explore most
Mhm.
of the levels because you would run into guys and then I'd be like, I can't rebattle this thing. It was killed me 7 times the first time, so I don't want to hang out on any of these planets, but I do because they're gorgeous.
Mhm.
They're so perfectly crafted. But
It's pretty.
KOTOR is coming out at some point, and that's one that I just like can't wait to dive back into the world that they created.
Yeah, that should be
Yeah,
awesome.
I think I read something that they were going to be doing a battle system overhaul as well too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which
There's
is
a lot.
obviously needed because it's basically like D&D style pen and paper
Yeah.
shit going on back there. Because
Absolutely.
I played it recently on mobile, and I'm like, oh my god, I know this is on mobile, but Jesus, this is hard
Yeah,
to get through.
quality
right
of life.
now.
It's just we need
It's
improvement.
ting, ting,
Seriously, when I was playing that game, when I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was like, oh, this is the kind of group controls that I remember feeling when KOTOR came out, because it was
Mhm.
very strange. It was kind of like Mass Effect style, where you could like control a battle and actually feel like most of the characters, and then just go in and just like Jedi people like crazy.
And
It was
Jedi
super
them.
fun.
It's a good verb.
You know, yeah. The other one, and you mentioned it as hate mail. I never got a chance to play Black and White, and I think those like there's a missing genre in games, which are is that like God game,
The
right? Like
creation genre.
yeah, like you could literally just like pick up a
creation.
rock and
God
like toss
simulator.
it, and
God
it
simulator.
really is,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh,
Fun.
Black and White and Black and White 2 did it different ways. Both of them were like either beloved or hated, and there was not a lot in between.
I'm
And
sick of Peter Molyneux's promises. Stupid.
I liked Halo, or I liked
Fable.
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 1.
It wasn't what it was promised, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
And then they made a second one worse, and then they made a third
But-
one even worse.
But the new one coming out looks like it could be cool, but I don't think he's on the team at all.
No, he's
It's
not.
Lion, was it
it's like-
Lionhead Studios?
well,
or
it's
something
like it's
that's now-
Lionhead Studios, but yeah, like they don't have. I think it's a pretty much a whole new team.
They locked them out of the building. Yeah.
Yeah. they
Sorry,
really-
Pete, we
like-
changed the locks.
Stop lying to people, you
And
asshole.
we threw all your shit on the curb.
God, stop lying. I don't care. Just because you got, a nice accent doesn't mean you can just say things.
I
We're
like
with
him as
that.
a visionary for gaming, but I think he needs a team around him that can be like, okay,
Rein
that's
him
a
in.
great,
Bring
yeah,
him in,
exactly,
yep.
Yeah.
exactly. Because Fable as the original Fable as a game, while it over promised and under delivered,
Right.
the actual game was awesome.
Yes, it was.
I
It
feel
was a
like
great
Todd
experience
Howard
as it
has
was.
one of those de-hype men or women.
De-hype men.
Just be like, well, now, what
Damper
about
men.
Fallout, but in space?
What he said, but like 50% less. Like he's got like a reverse Don King in his corner.
Yeah.
You know,
When can we bring this out? 2022. Oh my God, it's
Probably
2016. What's happening?
What about you?
Okay.
What's yours?
Okay. Hot take. I think they need to remake all of Crash Team Racing. I think that if we
CTR.
You
Is
were
it
hating on
awful?
that.
Okay, I'm kidding.
You should have seen how much I just glowed up right there.
Just
So-
wrecked his shot.
Wait a minute. Are you just saying that just to bullshit me,
Yes.
or like
Yes.
you're such an asshole?
They
Gaslighting.
should call it Mario Kart.
Is that what
Racing.
gaslighting is?
To make you feel crazy, like maybe he's on your side.
Oh yeah, you did gaslight me, you asshole. You can get canceled for that.
Oh boy. Well,
Oh.
that's my last episode, but I'll make my closing statement here. I would say Parasite Eve on
Ooh.
PS1. It was a very interesting game with strange bioorganisms, and you were this cop lady who had to fight these creatures that were evolving from mitochondria. It's so out
Scary.
there, and the visuals at that time just were very compelling and stunning. It was such a weird story. And I know there was like a movie in Japan that they made too that I had seen, and that was really interesting too. But just
I want to see that.
weird concepts, and I feel like that would go very well in today's climate of that, pushing the boundary of video games and ideas. So
I want to try this will be like our last question, but I really want to know this because there are remake and remasters.
Mhm.
But what's a game that you want to see have a revival? And so that would be like the game comes back, but it's got like a new part to the story. Like this is a new game that carries it on. I think they tried to do something like this with like Spyro the Dragon, right?
Well, and I think recently, I don't know if this meets that definition, but are you saying like maybe a certain circumstance, like, okay, this series has been going on for a while, been kind of stale. They bring out this next game and it's amazing.
God of
And
War.
Okay, God of War, yes, but also the Tales series with Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise came
I've
out,
never played
and
any of those.
people are, and it's winning like RPG of the
Mhm.
Year awards, stuff like that. Definitely on the Game Awards, and it is a fantastic game. And the Tales series for a while has been
So now I want you to take that same concept, but what's a game that you want to see get that treatment?
Star Ocean,
Yeah.
and it
Which
might
one?
be.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I want the series.
Okay,
to,
just
to
to
be
overall be
better.
revived.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it's yeah.
And they have another one coming out. Whether or not it's gonna be good or not, I don't
Mhm.
know. But one that's also a series that is kind of not really run its course, but like they just really stopped. I don't even remember when the last one was, but I love that series because of its kind of framework of like you can recruit like 100 or so characters, and each one has their own like personality and a
yeah.
story
What's
and
it
things like
called?
that. Suikoden.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really
those are
wish that
great.
they would pick up with that again because that is such an interesting concept of just all these different characters and how they exist in the world and like what their abilities are and things like that, how you can use them to your advantage. Like I feel like with systems nowadays, you could make some super complex deal with that, which would be totally cool.
I'm gonna leave a bit quick. I'm sorry.
He had
see
some
you in the
plans
next
already
one.
at this point.
You should like, do you have like a ninja dust thing, like, poof, and then you go,
We'll put that in. We'll put
that
those
in post.
effects in.
because the
He streams at Oni Ryu. Something. You should get the last
it's
episode.
THE the underscore
Oni.
ONI underscore Ryu, like the guy from Street Fighter, RYU.
Are you serious? You remembered all that?
Absolutely. At
God, my
Twitch.
memory is just
dot
horrible.
TV. Yeah.
Just horrible.
Yeah. We will make him a placard at some point. Otherwise, I'll just drop him a lower third when I edit this.
Boom.
The
Yeah.
game that I want to see like have a revival where they take this thing and then they like move it forward. I feel like right now we've got some awesome survival horror.
Right.
We've got some incredible graphics to pull off like truly immersive and kind of like terrifying things. We keep getting a bunch of Jurassic Parks, but we're not getting
Oh,
any
yeah.
Dino
Crisis. Yep, I was gonna say.
Dino Crisis.
Who is like
Oh
who
my
out
God.
there develops this? I watched that they had like a Jurassic Park Evolution 2 coming out, and it was like,
Mhm.
I don't want to build the park. I want to be terrified when they
Right,
when
being
they
chased by raptors.
like,
Yeah, that's
yeah, and to have that survival horror feel, like I love survival horror games, and I feel like every single time we have one, it's like, oh, it's a zombie thing or it's another apocalyptic type moment, and I'm like, it would be so fun to have that retake, especially with all we've been like learning about dinosaurs and that they have feathers, and you've got Horizon Zero Dawn, which made
Mhm.
the dinosaurs back. We haven't had an awesome dino game in a really long time, and so I would love to see a Dino Crisis 4. Is that what?
I'm not sure where they're
I
at
think
with
so.
that, but-
I think there were 3. This first
Yeah.
and second were like very critically acclaimed. The third one I
Mhm.
don't think hit quite as hard, but I would love to see that series return.
That's generally why series don't return, is because the third one never did
It's,
well.
it's the rule of 3. Yep.
Give me a Dino revival. You can start that story however you want. You can
And
hard
it's-
restart it. I don't care.
It's a survival too. You can eat raptor tendies then, like we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier. Yeah,
right.
like chicken tendies,
Yep.
because it just devolved raptors.
It sounds great.
That would be
Or
awesome.
evolved raptors. I'm
Could
sorry.
you
but
imagine that?
It's more like devolved though.
Demake. It's a demake of
Because
dinosaurs. Dinosaur
like
demake.
they
Yeah.
evolved, but yet they got weaker and dumb.
Is that like us with the monkeys?
But
too?
delicious with the. I wonder if people ate raptor eggs. Do you think
I-
people ate raptor eggs?
People weren't around when
People
there were
weren't around,
raptors,
I don't
Andy.
think.
What, the cavemen?
No,
No, that was like
no.
50 million
Yeah.
years ago.
There was an ice age in
And
between.
yeah,
them.
like
Okay.
our oldest
Like
is
several.
human, even close to a human, is less than 5 million, I believe, so far that we found.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I'll believe that.
but we can pretend that our ancestors ate out of raptor eggs.
Mhm.
I would do it.
That'd be super cool.
because that would be a sweet, like, I mean, if you think about that, even if they took something like that and like Red Dead Redemptioned it, and you like all of a sudden it was like the second part where we had kind of created a settlement, you
they
go
did.
out. And,
They
like,
did. It's called Far Cry Primal.
Oh, that's true.
Oh
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Turok.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
I remember
yeah,
that. It's an
Yeah.
A
old
game
one.
that probably doesn't need to come back. But
No.
No,
that's my revival. I would love to see a Dino Crisis game, even if they gave me like one of the like shooter style
Mhm.
games or something. That'd be fun.
Solid pick.
Okay, that's a good one. I was thinking about that, and I can't think of anything that would be like life changing. Like, Skies of Arcadia was an amazing JRPG on Dreamcast, and if they could kind of like pick that back up and continue events, it was like pirates in the air, like there's just floating land masses, and they would travel between those airships. And that was that game did quite a bit different mechanics from a lot of JRPGs I had played at the time. I would say Eternal Darkness for the GameCube. It was
Oh,
it
man.
was a psychological horror game that just terrified you and terrorized you as you would play it. And I feel like that would do great in today's climate.
Does Nintendo own that?
I have no idea. Oh, maybe I should check.
Yeah, check on that. I'm pretty sure that they do, but like Nintendo has just got some just like absolute bangers that they're like, nah, we don't need that yet. We don't need that. We'll pull it out when it actually becomes a problem, like Mother 3, like or I don't know.
Silicon Knights is the group that made Eternal Darkness. And I've
Oh, okay, okay.
never really heard of
Like
them.
maybe Eternal Darkness or whatever.
Oh, they made Two Human. Oh man, they went.
They
It went down.
That's what I want to know. So I don't know. I would love to have people drop into the comments.
Mhm.
What's how do you feel about remasters? What's your favorite one that you've played, and what game do you want to see revived? Because I think the revival part is really fun. There's so many.
Revived, yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many stories that just got cut too short.
Or there's just like just cult groups of people that really like take to a certain series and they're like, oh, remember those good old days when
Right.
this was going on, and you're like, oh yeah, it's so great. Oh well, they're bringing that back, and it looks real awesome.
Mhm.
So like you said, like a revival, just like an absolute burst of life. That's the only qualifying characteristic, is that it just has to bring life into a series again.
Resident. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are the Rad Gamer Dads. Do want to plug, we're looking at late March, early April. I believe we're thinking March 26th to do a 50-50 raffle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
12-hour live stream, so we'll definitely keep you in the know, but prepping it early. Interact with us in the comments. Follow us on Facebook. Go tell a friend. Go talk to another Rad Gaming dad or mom.
Yeah,
Or
for that
lad.
12-hour stream too. Like put what games that you want us to play if you want to see us play something together.
That's a great idea.
We've got in between us like a lot, a lot of stuff. So if you want to see some, we'll let you know if we can oblige. We were thinking about doing like a 12-hour Stardew Valley farm,
Oh God, yeah.
like multiplayer. We could do
Get
4
ready,
people
Josh.
that way. But we got Josh coming in on this
Yeah,
one too.
he's
so,
initiated
my
into
first
this.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First timer.
we'll
You'll see
we'll
his
go
hazing.
slow.
yeah.
We'll go slow.
Sweet man. You're so
Yeah, and
beautiful.
now,
Rad
just,
gamer
now this
dad.
is a 50-50. So, and just to say that 50 of whatever we take in, 50% of it will go to one lucky winner. The other 50% goes towards our fundraising efforts to for like a bigger prize, typically
Mhm.
during our fall stream that we do for charity there.
That's how we got
So-
the Series S.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. Series S was last year, so maybe even bigger, better things this year. Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, check us out. Facebook, like Josh said,
Yeah.
and anything else, Luke or Josh?
No.
Like,
I got
follow,
no
and
plugins.
come hang out with us.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Until next time.
Thanks for joining us on episode 7, Rad Gamer Dad Podcast. Bye.